Hey everyone, welcome to Firewall Analyzer free training part 2. Let's proceed. So before we start the session, let us look at quickly over what we are going to cover today. First, we are going to look at the need for log monitoring and why specifically Firewall Analyzer. Next, we are going to look at some basics of Firewall Analyzer, such as the steps to fetch firewall logs and an overview on the reports that are generated. After the report overview, we will dive deep into the use cases on how to look at the various reports, such as the VPN reports, traffic reports, security reports, custom reports, and search reports. Finally, we are also going to cover how to set alarm notifications for various triggers that can be found in Firewall Analyzer. So let us address the most important question in hand, that is, why log monitoring and also why specifically Firewall Analyzer? The network and network security landscape is rapidly changing, and to stay ahead of this change, security admins are working around the clock to install new network security devices like your IDS, IPS, proxies, and also VPNs over and above the existing firewall. However, this hasn't deterred the cyber criminals, and they are only finding new ways and different segments to attack every day. So this raises a serious question. Does merely adding multiple network security tools protect your network from security breaches? Evidently not. You need a tool which monitors all your network security devices and periodically identifies internal and external threats on a real-time basis. Introducing Firewall Analyzer, a log, policy, and configuration monitoring tool which helps in keeping track of your security and traffic logs using its log analysis feature, and alarm management, that is notifying about attacks and bandwidth anomalies. And it has inventory reports which contain details about each individual firewall devices and all their performance metrics. And then we have a rule management feature which helps in managing and optimizing your firewall rules. And it also helps in identifying who made what changes, when and where, using its configuration change management feature, and also in taking a backup of your configuration using the configuration backup feature, which will save your network in case of a network disaster. And finally, we have the complaints management, which is identifying firewall misconfigurations with out-of-the-box reports. We're going to cover the following features in today, that is log analysis, that is it helps generate in-depth log reports using which you can identify internal and external threats, and then alarm management, which helps you get notified on security and bandwidth anomalies in real time, and finally the inventory reports. The previous week we had the part 1 of the free training session where we had covered rule management, compliance management, and the configuration monitoring backup features of Firewall Analyzer in detail. And in case you have missed out and were not able to participate in the previous session, do not worry, I'll be sending a recording of the part 1 of this webinar as well, along with the part 2 post this session, so that you can stay updated on the features of Firewall Analyzer. Let us look at some of the basic installation and configuration requirements to fetch firewall logs into Firewall Analyzer. So step one would be to first install the Firewall Analyzer tool. The installation requirements will be shared with you, or in case you want to look it up yourself, you can directly go to our website and look for installation requirements or system prerequisites, and we have it listed out on our website. So once you have installed Firewall Analyzer onto your system, next you need to do is to fetch the firewall logs. To set up the firewall logs, you need to configure your firewall device to send the syslogs via the UDP port 1514. So this is the default listening port of Firewall Analyzer, and in case this port is not available, it is not free, an alternate free port needs to be selected. So once Firewall Analyzer is installed, Firewall Analyzer must be directed to receive the syslogs from this new port. That is, in case the default listening port 1514 is not available. Following this, there are two ways to export syslogs to Firewall Analyzer. So as mentioned before, the first way is to configure your firewall devices by forwarding their syslogs to port 1514. So that would be the first way. The second way is to directly import the log files and the configuration files of your firewall device directly onto Firewall Analyzer. So once this step is done, step 2 is done, Firewall Analyzer starts to generate various reports such as your security, VPN, and bandwidth reports. Not only that, you can also start triggering alarm notifications for the various anomalies that you detect in your network. Firewall Analyzer provides a wide range of reports. So to summarize all the reports, you can see them on the screen. The first, we have the VPN reports. So these reports provide detailed VPN analysis, which helps you to plan your VPN bandwidth and capacity. Then we have the firewall reports, which is a combination of firewall security and traffic analytics. And then there is the dashboard and inventory report. So these reports give you a high-level overview of all the firewall statistics. Fourth, we have the proxy server report. So these are reports that are generated by analyzing these quit proxy servers that are present in your network. So next we have the custom reports. That is, if you want to customize the log reports and you feel that the default report templates that we offer does not suit your requirements, we provide you the option of creating your own customized report by using the custom reports function. So that is also there. And finally, you can perform forensic log analysis using the search reports. So these are the set of reports that Firewall Analyzer provides to you once you have configured your firewall devices. Next, as you know, since the pandemic of 2020, COVID, a lot of employees have been forced to work from home or to embrace a hybrid workforce. And a majority of the companies have adopted this to cope up with their workflow. However, as a security admin, this poses a lot of security risk and bandwidth issues. In today's cases, wherever applicable, we will cover security and bandwidth management for your VPN infrastructure in detail. Most organizations are moving towards a work culture where employees have the freedom to work from any place they want, also called hybrid workforce. So for this environment to be successful, many organizations have implemented a dedicated virtual private network, or VPN for short. However, the very same VPN connections that enable the employees to work from remote locations can also lead to a security lapse if it is not properly monitored. So this makes VPN traffic monitoring one of the most important functions for any network security administrator. Firewall Analyzer generates VPN reports which help in identify the following. That is, with the help of these VPN reports, you can track the amount of traffic that is consumed by VPN users, identify the number of connections to your VPN, monitor the active VPN user sessions and the bandwidth that is subsequently consumed, and also track the VPN consumption and project VPN consumption trends. So let us look at how this report looks like in the product UI. So for that, I'm taking you to our product. So for the sake of demonstration, I have created a local setup that is running in my system. And for this demonstration, I'll also be alternating between our online free demo. This is nothing but demo.fwanalyzer.com. So you just go to your browser search option and type that over there, or simply Google Firewall Analyzer free demo, and you will get a link to this online portal. So here, if you're not going to ask your signups or your email address or anything, if you find that there is any feature that you fancy, you can directly check them out over here on our online free tool. So simply go on to demo.fwanalyzer.com. All right, so proceeding with our session. So let's look at the VPN reports in detail. So to access the VPN reports, you go to reports and click on VPN reports. All right, so here I'm going to choose all of my devices to have this report generated. And I'm going to generate this report for a period of past 30 days. All right, so here you have all my VPN metrics, and here you have the list of VPN reports that we support. And if you scroll down, you can see all of these reports. So to name a few, we have active VPN user reports, we have VPN sessions, we have top users, which shows you how many times someone is connected to the VPN. We have VPN usage trends. We have VPN status report. And then we have overview, which shows you what are the devices that are used to connect to the VPN. Then we have another VPN reports, and we also have VPN trend reports. So in addition to this, we have also VPN active VPN trend reports. So I'll be going over all of these reports in detail, and in case you want to look at them in depth, I would recommend you to try them out at our online demo. That is demo.fwanalyzer.com. And in case you want to have our technician walk you through the reports that are present in the tool, I would request you to let us know by notifying us in the Q&A chat panel, and we'll schedule a personalized demo for you so that you are aware of all the functionalities that the tool has to offer. All right. So now, for those who have attended the previous webinar that happened last week, you should be aware of who Jim is. So for those who have freshly joined the session, Jim is a security admin, and his company is an imaginary security admin, and his company has adopted a work from home approach. So let us look into the various security and bandwidth issues that are faced by the company that Jim is working in, and how Jim addresses all of those issues using Firewall Analyzer. So the first task that the company has assigned Jim is to identify which users are currently logged into the VPN. So this is especially useful to check if employees are logging into the company server and their activity status. Let us look at how this can be done using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, I'm taking you to our product UI, and to go over the requirement, Jim has to identify all the active VPN users. So for that, under reports, you go to VPN reports, and over here you select the active VPN users, the report that is displayed over here. So here you get a list of all the users who are currently active. And in addition to that, you also get further information about them, such as the assigned IP, the start time, the duration, the device through which the VPN was accessed. So all of this information is available. So with this, Jim has a clear understanding as to who has been logged in and who is currently active. And you can, in case you want to have this downloaded in the form of a report, we have that function as well. Simply click on the respective icons. We have the PDF, CSV, and Excel over here. Simply click on them and select export. And you can see that this report gets automatically downloaded. So this data is also available in the form of multiple format of reports. All right. So the management, after this, looking at the active VPN session count, they also want to know the complete VPN activity of all the employees. So this includes both the active sessions and the sessions of employees that have been completed, that is completed sessions. The management, in addition to having this sent to them on a report, also want to have this report scheduled. That is, they want this report sent to them on a repetitive weekly basis. So let us look at how Jim can achieve this by using Firewall Analyzer. So for that, I'm going to take you back to the product. And over here, under VPN reports, you have the second option, that is VPN sessions. So in the active VPN users, which we saw previously, it gave you a list of all the active sessions. However, this VPN sessions, it will give you a list of active as well as users whose sessions are completed. So here you can see that the ones that are marked in green are the ones who are currently still connected to their session, and the ones in gray are the ones who are currently inactive. That is, they have finished their session. So in addition to this, you also get to know the duration of someone that is connected to the VPN, the amount of bandwidth that they have consumed, and once again, you also get to know from which device the VPN was accessed. So with this, let's say, for example, the management specifically wants to know how long someone has been active and how much bandwidth someone has consumed using the VPN. You can get this report and use that to answer all of the set questions. So on to the second requirement, which is to have this report emailed as an email on a repetitive basis. See, in addition to the report that we had downloaded previously, to schedule this at a recurring basis, simply go to the schedule option, select the firewall devices for which you want this report. Let's call this weekly report, give it a name. Click next, and here in the schedule option, choose the file format and specify the duration, the date in which you want this, let's say every Saturday around 20 hours, and hit next. And here you enter all the email information. That is, what is the email to which you want Firewall Analyzer to send this report to. And you can do that. You can give this report a name. You can add a report. You can add a note. And once you're done with that, you simply hit save, and this gets saved, and every week on the assigned date, you will get this data forwarded to you in the form of a report. All right, so now that a majority of the resources are joining the VPN network, it becomes extremely important to plan and allocate the bandwidth. Say if a single employee is hogging all the bandwidth, this would slow down the network usage for all the other employees. So hence, as a third task, Jim's company wants him to identify more details on the VPN. So they want more information on the user activity and the connection trend to be specific. And once again, they want this report to be scheduled. So let us look at how Jim can do this using Firewall Analyzer. So for that, going back to the product, and over here under reports, under VPN reports, you choose the third option, that is the top users. So here you get a list of all the users and how many times they have connected, and how much bandwidth they have consumed, and also the duration in which they have consumed. So with this, Jim gets a clear understanding on the top users, how many times they have connected to the VPN, and the bandwidth that has been consumed by them. So once again, like the previous report, this is also schedulable. So you follow similar steps. So you give this a name and you follow the same steps. And once you're done with that, you give your email address and your email information. And once again, this report gets scheduled and sent out to you on a repetitive basis. All right, so Jim is moving on to his fourth task, which is to identify the active VPN connection count for a specific firewall. So why does Jim's company need him to do this? So as you know, most devices offer limited number of VPN connections, and the cost goes higher as the number of connection goes up. Hence, it is extremely critical to plan the VPN connection capacity on the dot. Purchasing excess capacity would result in excess IT spend, and purchasing lesser capacity would result in performance and productivity issues. Hence, Jim needs to monitor the connections for a specific firewall and identify their usage trend. So let us look at how Jim does this using Firewall Analyzer. So going back to the product, we're going to look at the VPN overview report under VPN reports. All right, so under overview, say for example, you want to have this data not for all your firewall devices, but for a specific firewall. So I'm going to choose my Cisco ASA firewall. All right, so the data that is populated over here is only for this particular firewall device. So here you can see that the maximum number of active sessions for my Cisco ASA firewall is around 8. So let's say that I have planned only for a maximum connection of around 5. In that case, this is going to be a problem, since at a single time, there are going to be around 8 people who are going to be connected to the network and are going to be active. So with this report, you can clearly identify what or how many connections you need to optimally have in your infrastructure to make sure that you have a seamless VPN experience. The next task that is allocated to Jim is to identify the failed VPN login attempts. In Jim's company, a lot of employees are complaining that they did not log in since they were unable to do so. And hence, Jim has been asked by the company to proactively reach out to them and fix these failed logins, since this will not only increase the productivity, but also help in identifying spurious login attempts, including the attempts of a hacker in case he's trying to break into the network using brute force. So given that people are working from home or away from office, we don't know if the Wi-Fi is compromised or if someone is trying to enter the enterprise network using the VPN. So once again, this is an important report to keep track of. So let us look at how this is achieved using Firewall Analyzer. So going back to the product. So for this, we're going to go to the next report under our arsenal of VPN reports. This is VPN report. And I'm going to have this generated for all my devices. All right. So under VPN reports, you have something called top failed VPN users. So here you can see that there are several hits, and which means that Jim can identify these failed login attempts using this report and reach out to these users and better understand the problems that they are facing and they're trying to log in. So in case this number is abnormally large and it is not contributed by the user, then Jim can understand that this is an external activity and take sufficient measures to ensure the security of the network remains steadfast. Now that a lot of employees are accessing the VPN network, For device and bandwidth allocation purposes, it becomes extremely important that Jim identifies the busiest hour and the leanest hour and plan the VPN infrastructure accordingly. So say, for example, there is going to be a release, or let's say there is a product release that is happening routinely on the second week of every month. So the problem is, if you do not understand this trend, uh, there will be a lot of people who are logging into the second week of every month to participate in this product release or release feature. And without the prior knowledge of this trend, you will not be able to plan adequately for this sudden spike in VPN usage. So with the help of Jim, the company tries to resolve this, and they want him to identify VPN connection trends so that they can better address this issue. So let's see how Jim makes use of Firewall Analyzer to address this issue. So for this, once again, under VPN reports, you go to VPN trend report. So let me generate this for my Cisco ASA firewall, and all right, let me take you to the demo to show that we have a beautiful report over there. For this, you go to VPN reports, and under VPN, you go to VPN trend reports, and let me generate this for all my devices. So here you get the daily, weekly, and monthly trends in addition to the yearly reports. So with this, you can clearly identify the trend in VPN usage, and in case you have this report up and down, you can understand when at what time of the day there is a spike in the VPN activity, and you can make sure that those spikes are accounted for and that they are able to log into the network without any issues. And with this information, you can scale up accordingly and make sure that there is no loss in productivity. After VPN reports, the next report that we are going to be looking at is Firewall Analyzer reports, and this is primarily classified into two types. So the first type is the security analytics report, and the second one would be traffic analytics. So in this slide, we're going to be covering the security analytics in detail. So till date, as long as the employees were working from the office, they were protected by the office network security devices, and a combination of strict compliance to various security mandates. So even if a hacker tries to penetrate the network, a combination of smart security monitoring and remediation by the IT admin had always protected the enterprise from said attacks. However, with the adoption of work from home or work from anywhere, this is no longer the case. And hackers have quickly pounced onto the situation, and they find remote employees an easy target and can use them to eventually get their hands on enterprise data. Hence, it is extremely critical to closely monitor all the security logs. And with Firewall Analyzer, you get detailed security reports on the attack reports, including the attack reports and virus reports, top security events and denied events, top spam generators, and even failed logon details. So let us look at how this looks like from the product UI. So going back to the product, under reports, you go to Firewall Reports. And over here, you can see that Firewall Reports is a combination of traffic as well as security reports. And if you scroll down, you can find the security reports over here. So for security reports, you have the security reports, you have virus reports, and there's attack reports, and we also have a spam report. And in addition to this, you also have event trend reports and several other reports. So with this, you get an understanding as to what are the security issues, or which specific destination or which specific host is facing an issue. In case he's using a specific IP that is being used, that is being under attack, or a specific protocol that is used to mount an attack. You get to know all of that information from these security reports. All right, so let us look at a use case for the security reports. So let's say that there have been a lot of attacks that is happening in Jim's company, and these attacks are increasing in frequency, and this is especially happening now since there are a lot of employees who are not logging in from the office but are logging in from the comfort of their home or from destinations that is away from your office. So with this, the dangers of security threat has increased exponentially. Jim's company wants to know which protocol is being used by the hackers to attack the network. So let us look at how Jim identifies the protocols used to mount attacks using Firewall Analyzer. So for that, I'm taking you back to the product. And over here under Firewall Reports, you go on and choose the attack reports. Let me generate this report for a period of 30 days. All right. So Jim wants to know what type of attack and what type of protocol is being used for this attack. So for that, you have the top attackers report. And here you can see the protocol that is used to mount the attacks. And if you scroll down, you have an even in-depth report that says top protocols that are used by attacks. And over here, you get a clear understanding as to what is the main protocol that is used by the attackers. And here you can see that there are multiple attacks mounted in specific protocols. So you click on that, you get detailed information. So with this information, Jim can easily identify what was the protocol that was used to mount the most attacks. So now that we have covered the security reports, next we move on to traffic analytics. So under traffic analytics, you get detailed traffic usage reports on the different protocols, applications, cloud services, internet and intranet. So apart from this, you also get a trend report on the traffic and events. So let us look into the product UI in detail on these reports. So taking you back to the product, and under the firewall reports, if you scroll up, here you can see that we have the traffic reports over here. And in addition to traffic reports, we have a specific report for protocol usage. We have one more for web usage. Similarly, we have reports for mail usage, and we have one more report for FTP. So likewise, we have several reports that are pertaining to the traffic aspect of Firewall Analyzer. So these reports automatically populate as long as it has data in them. And in addition to traffic, we also have internet and intranet reports. That is also there for your convenience. So with these reports, Jim can easily identify if there are any issues with respect to traffic or if any specific user is hogging a lot of bandwidth. So in case he wants to know the users who are consuming a lot of bandwidth, he can do that in the traffic reports. Here we have the top users sent and received over here. So this portrays all the users who have consumed overall large amount of data, including the sent and received category. So here you can see that there is one specific user who has consumed enormous amount of data. And in case you want to understand in depth on how this data was consumed or what was the duration which it was consumed, click on it and you will get detailed information on all of this. All right. So moving on. So next we're going to look at the dashboard and inventory reports that Firewall Analyzer has to offer. So the dashboard is nothing but an aggregated report which provides a firewall overview report, that is nothing but a high-level overview of your firewall traffic statistics, security statistics, and also system performance. And then you have the live traffic report. So this gives you a live traffic data through your individual firewalls. And then there is VPN reports, which provides your overall active VPN user list and VPN usage details. And then you have users and cloud control and also rules. So here you get to view an overview of all the rules that are used in the firewall and the users who are currently accessing it and the cloud service that has been subsequently accessed by the users. So that's what we have to offer for dashboard reports. And likewise, we also have inventory reports. So inventory reports, on the other hand, is an individual device-based report which gives you brief on the status of your devices, that is each firewall device that is connected to your firewall analyzer, and on the interfaces that are connected to the configured firewall devices, and on the users who have generated traffic via the configured firewall device, and the cloud service which have been used via the firewall device. And in addition to that, you can also look at the rules that are triggered in each and every firewall. So let us look at how these reports look like in the product UI. So for that, I'm taking you back to the product, and over here you go to dashboard. All right, so here you can see that we have the dashboard data populated out over here. So first is the dashboard, and under dashboard, you can see that we have the firewall summary. So the two overviews are the firewall summary and the system performance. So looking at the firewall summary, here you get a high-level overview of all the traffic and security details. So following this firewall summary, here we have the system performance. So this provides an overview of the CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk space monitor, the FA logs per second, the database connection count, and even the thread count. So following the overview reports, we have the live traffic data over here. And this gives you live traffic information through your individual firewalls. Then we have next is the cloud control, which provides information on the usage statistics for various cloud platforms. And this includes file sharing services, social media services, top business services, cloud applications, cloud services, and even category-wise usage. So following this, we have our users, that is the different users who have access to your firewalls and what are the data that they have consumed. And then we also have detailed VPN reports. So this gives you active VPN user list and everything else. Then there is rule management. It gives you an overall on the rules that have been consumed. Any anomalies that are detected will be listed out over here. And then you have the security aspect. Right, give me a second. Okay, so here you have the security aspect of the dashboard reports, and also we have a couple more. We have standards, and we have custom reports as well, custom dashboard as well. So in case you are not satisfied with the default dashboard that we have to offer, and you're looking to create your own dashboard, that is also possible. To do that, simply click on the new dashboard option, hit new dashboard, and let's call this let me quickly refresh this page. It seems I've run into some network issues on my part. I apologize for that. All right, so coming back to creating new dashboard, simply hit the new dashboard option and hit the new dashboard button again. And here, simply name this dashboard 2, hit next and choose the number of dashboard widgets that I want. Hit next and choose who gets to view this dashboard. So in case I have two admins, a day shift admin and a night shift admin, then I can choose to create individual dashboards for each of them, and I can restrict this report and this dashboard only to the admins and exclude the operators from accessing these reports. So here you can see that this is my default, this is my new dashboard that I just created. So in case you are using your NOC views, then you can embed multiple dashboards into that. So we have that option as well. So moving on to the inventory aspect of the Firewall Analyzer, we have intuitive and interesting reports that we have to offer. So to access our inventory reports, simply go to inventory, and here under devices, you can see each firewall device that is configured in the Firewall Analyzer, all the interfaces that are connected to the configured firewall devices, the users who have generated traffic via the configured firewall device, the cloud service which have been used via the firewall device, and finally the rules that have been triggered in the specific firewall device. So all of these is available under the inventory. So moving on. So in Jim's company, a lot of attacks have been taking place on a single firewall. So for this purpose, the company has asked Jim to investigate everything about the attacks that is happening in this single firewall. So let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. Before that, going back to the product, here to get all the information about single firewall devices, you go to inventory, and under inventory in the devices, here you identify the firewall that is facing a lot of attacks. So let's say that the firewall FortiGate is facing a lot of attacks. So let me quickly change this to my last 30 days so that I have the data that is generated, the average data generated in the last 30 days. All right. So let's say that, for example, that the attack is happening from this device, the FortiGate device. So here we can explore more and get detailed information about the live traffic status. And here you can see the bandwidth consumption that has happened in this particular firewall device. Here you can get the top 10 data of pertaining to the particular firewall. And here you can view the sites that have been active over here, and the ones that have been denied are listed over here. And under apps, you can see the applications that have been used, and under rules, you can see the rules that have been triggered. It's available over here. And you also have VPN related information over here. And finally, under security, you can see that we have a detailed section. So this includes a list of top attacks, top denied hosts, and even the top denied destinations. This also includes the top spam generators and even denied user logons. So with this information, Jim can easily understand where an attack has originated from and which specific device is being infected, or if any specific IP is having an issue. So with these reports, Jim gets access to all of the information using the inventory reports. So Firewall Analyzer is also capable of analyzing the syslogs from your Squid proxy servers, and is also able to generate the following reports, that is URL reports, top talkers report, website details report, and also proxy usage reports. So let me quickly take you to the product to show that to you in detail. So for this, under reports, you go to proxy reports. So Firewall Analyzer post fetching the data. Let me quickly check this to 30 days. So post-fetching data will generate the reports for any Squid proxy server that you have fetched the logs for. So once again, you have under proxy reports, you have URL reports, you have proxy usage reports, website details, and even top talkers report. So all of these are available under proxy reports. So let me take you to the presentation to show you an example, a use case for proxy reports. So let's say that Jim has been assigned a task to find if there are any proxy virus attacks in the system. And if there are, they want to find the source of these attacks. So let us look at how Jim identifies the proxy virus attacks using the Firewall Analyzer. So for that, going back to the product, and over here you go to proxy usage. Right. So here, if you scroll down, you have something called. All right. So under website details, here you have something called the proxy virus reports. So in this proxy virus report, you get a detailed information of all the proxy virus attacks that has happened. And in addition to that, you also get all the details, such as the which is the host, the count, and the percentage of hits that has happened. And if you want to know more on these attacks, simply click on them and you'll be taken to a different window where you get a lot more information on the attacks that has been captured in this report. So Firewall Analyzer also presents Jim with the option to view traffic from a country-wise data. So for that, we have something called the country reports. So for that, once again, let me set it to 30 days. So here you can see a list of countries, the highlighted ones, from which traffic has originated and has passed through your firewall. So that is displayed out over here. And to view that in the table format, you can choose the table viewer here and get all of these details in the form of a table. All right, moving back. All right, so if any of the predefined reports do not fit your needs, then we have customized reports that will help you to satisfy your requirements. So to give this a use case, Jim has been asked to identify that which users have logged in via the VPN, and he's also been given specific instructions such that he has to create a unique report. So his instructions include the requirement that all of the top level executives, that is the upper management, to be excluded when they are calculating a certain metric, such as let's say that the VPN metric. So the VPN metric for all of the employees that are in the company, other than the top upper management, needs to be excluded. So let's see how Jim can achieve this by using Firewall Analyzer's custom report. So for that, going back to the product, under report, you have custom reports. So here you can see that there's already a custom report created. So now to create one more report, simply hit add, and let me give this report a name. I'm going to call this VPN report all. So next I'm going to do is add a filter. So what is a filter and how do I add one? So to add a new filter, simply hit add filter by selecting the checkbox. So here we have two types of filter, that is the include filter and exclude filter. So what this does is it either allows you to include certain metrics or exclude certain metrics. So in our case, I'm going to call this management, and I'm going to have an exclude filter. That is what my intention is, to exclude all of the upper management. So here I can either choose the certain IPs. In case I have those IPs, I can exclude them. Or in case I can, if I have those upper management added as users, I can exclude them by adding here as well. So let's say I'm choosing IP and I have one upper management that I would like to include, or a range, or in case you have a list in the form of a CSV, you can upload that using the CIDR option. Okay, I'm going to type this IP, include that over here, and I'm going to click on OK. So that I've created a new report that says upper management. So this particular IP address will be excluded whenever I'm running this custom report. So in addition to filters, I also have the option to add reports over here. So here you can also define the type of report that you want to generate. So for this, you simply give this report a name and choose the protocol on which you want to base it on. Choose your graphical representation over here, and you can choose the x-axis and y-axis over here. And let's call this VPN. So once you're done with that, simply hit OK. All right. So let me choose user and VPN over here. Click OK. So now I have created a new report that will be added to my custom report section. So in case I do not want to create a new report every time, so to simplify this process, we have already given you an option to save all of your predefined reports, your pre-created reports. So in case you want to activate them, simply select them out over here like this, and they will be included every time you run this custom report. So I'm just adding one for demonstration purpose. So once you're done with that, you have the option to schedule this. This is similar to how we were explaining the schedule report option, and enter the email address. And once you hit save, this gets automatically scheduled. I'm going to save, and here you can see that the custom report is listed out over here. All right. So next we're going to look at the search report. So this helps you to perform forensic analysis for a certain period of time using the logs. So basically in Firewall Analyzer, we have two types of search reports. That is aggregated search, that is which provides you information based on specific criteria over a period of time. Then we have raw search, which provides forensic log analysis from multiple activities. So let me give you use cases for both of these search reports. So first, let us look at a use case for aggregated search. So let's say that we have a user by the name Tom, and he's hogging all the bandwidth, and the company has asked Jim to create a report on exactly how much data that particular user is consuming and what are the various other details about that particular one user. So let's see how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer. So for this, you go to search option and click on aggregated search. And in aggregated search, let's say that the user is Tom. We have that over here. And we want to have this data for all of my firewall devices. So I'm going to hit generate. And here with this aggregated report, you get a detailed list of what are the events, how many times Tom has logged in, and the bandwidth consumed by this particular user. So all of that is available over here. So we have one more use case for the search report, which is for the raw search. So here, let's say that there have been a lot of attacks happening in Jim's network, especially now since a lot of employees are not working from office. So because of this, the network has become more vulnerable to attacks. So hence, Jim's company has asked Jim to identify all the virus attacks that are happening in this system. Let us look at how Jim identifies this using Firewall Analyzer's raw search function. So for that, going back to the product, here in the search, you go to raw search, and here I've selected all of my firewall devices, and the search type would be raw firewall logs. And here, since my requirement is to look at the virus or attacks logs, I'm only going to have that selected. And I'm going to say virus isn't, let's say virus isn't null. And once you hit generate, you get a list of all the virus attacks that has happened in the network. And you also get the option to drill down of that specific logs that were responsible for this attack. So after figuring out where the issue is, if you want to mine and check the issue, you can also do that using the raw search. So that is present over here. Raw search settings. present over here. So with this, raw search is very useful for forensic log analysis. All right, so now we have come to the final section of this webinar, that is the alarm management module of Firewall Analyzer. So this is a very useful way to identify security events in real time. In Firewall Analyzer, we have three types of alarm profiles, that is anomaly, normal, anomaly, and bandwidth. The normal alerts are when it is a real-time alert for a specific activity, and we have anomaly alerts that notify you, which is usually used whenever you want to notify about an event over a period of time. Then finally, we have bandwidth or threshold alert, which is an alert that is generated whenever you cross a specific bandwidth threshold. So all alarms can be seen in the alarm section in the product UI, and these alerts will be notified by Firewall Analyzer to you via multiple options. So here we have at the top of the box, we have the email, which once you configure your email server, Firewall Analyzer will be sending you alerts using your email. And then we have SMS, similar to email. Once you configure your SMS server, Firewall Analyzer can send you SMS notifications. And we also have the run script option, which is nothing but an executable programmable file, which will be triggered to run every time the alarm is triggered. In addition to this, we also have several other options, such as ServiceNow integration, which can help you to log a ticket directly to your ServiceNow tool. And then we have web alarms, we have webhook alarms, etc. So we have several other options. So let me take you to the product to show you our alarms window. So for that, I simply hit alarm button. And over here, you can see the list of alarms that have been triggered. So all of that is captured and listed out over here. And here you have the option to categorize all of these alarms based on severity, etc. Let us look at a use case for alarm management. So again, as I mentioned, now a lot of employees are working from home. So this makes the network especially vulnerable to attacks. Jim's company especially have identified that a lot of attacks are happening via the ARP protocol. So Jim is notified by the company to identify the ARP attacks at the very inception. So he's been asked to set an alarm notification so that every time 5 ARP attacks happen within a span of 10 minutes of time, Jim has been asked to notify the upper management. So let us see how Jim can set this unique alarm using his alarm profiles. So for that, going back to the product, and under settings, you have others. Over here, you have alarm profile. So to create a new alarm profile, simply hit add. And here I'm going to give this alarm a name. I'm going to call this ARP attacks, and this will be a normal alarm. And alert category will be for the attack. Since it's an attack event, I'm going to select attack event. I'm going to choose attack event over here. And over here, I have the option to determine the threshold of the threshold details of this particular alarm. So I can choose the priority, and I'm going to set this alert for every 5 instances that is generated in the span of 10 minutes. So once I'm done, I can choose to assign owner. And once all of that is done, I'm going down to the notification option. So here I have the option to choose between email-based SMS, chat, or I can run a program which is running a script. You can log a ticket, web alarm. You can even log a syslog profile, create a trap profile, or even invoke a webhook. So all of that option is available. And for the sake of demonstration, I have created a web alarm. So I'm going to save this. Here you can see that my my custom alarm profile has been created and it is saved. So in case you do not want it, here you can see the report web alarm being generated. Right. So in case I do not want this, simply disable this out over here. Sorry, right. So that's how the web alarm works. So that is a use case for the alarm profile. So let us look at quickly another use case, which gives you the which is the last use case for the day, and it gives you an in-depth idea on the capabilities of this alarm profile. So let's say that Jim's company has noticed a specific user and he has clogged a major part of the bandwidth. And since now that VPN bandwidth availability is constrained due to the limited availability, since there are more number of employees using it, this has become a major issue. And Jim has been assigned a task to trigger an alarm notification in case, let's call this user who's consuming a lot of bandwidth John. So in case this particular user by the name John is consuming a lot of data, let's say around 1 GB of data within a span of 1 hour. So if that happens, Jim wants, the company wants Jim to send them a notification. So let's see how Jim can achieve this by using Firewall Analyzer. So going back to the product, to create a custom alarm, again under settings, under others, you go to alarm profiles and hit add once again. All right, so let's call this alert on. All right, so I'm going to set this as bandwidth alert. I'm sorry, as an anomaly alert, since this happens over a period of time. So over here, I'm going to select my user as, I'm going to choose my user as John, and I can choose the application. So let's say that he's connected to the VPN. So the application is VPN, and we're going to track the consumption of John using the John of his VPN usage. So here the threshold details, I'm going to update them. So in a period of 1 hour, total traffic of all of his consumption exceeds 1 GB. So this is the threshold details. Once again, I'm left with the option to choose the priority and the admin and check for every. So once every 15 minutes, this check happens. So once I'm done with that, I can once again give this a notification option of my choosing. Hit save, and yes, you have the unique alarm profile created for John. So that is that. And once again, you don't need this to be active. So let's say over the weekend you want to have this disabled, we can do that over here. And to enable it, simply toggle it back. You don't have to go ahead and create a new report, a new alarm profile every time you need to get this report up and running. So to summarize what we have explained in the webinar so far. So Firewall Analyzer is a policy and configuration monitoring tool. It helps you in identifying policy anomalies, unused rules and objects, and also helps in performing in-depth rule analysis for any proposed new rule. And it also helps in optimizing your firewall performance. It provides out-of-the-box compliance mandate reports for SANS, PCI, DSS, NIST, etc. So these points were covered in the previous session. And in today's session, we looked at the VPN reports in detail and how that can help you in planning your VPN capacity and bandwidth capacity. And we also looked at detailed security analytics, which helps you to identify threats. And also we looked at traffic analytics in detail and how that helps in user monitoring. And finally, we looked at the search reports, which helps you to perform detailed forensic log analysis. So with Firewall Analyzer, you can also set real-time alarm notifications, and that can be triggered to your email, SMS, etc. So with this, it helps you to proactively identify and prevent security events. Finally, Firewall Analyzer supports vast majority of the firewall vendors that are present in the market, along with a large number of their devices. In case you wish to learn all the devices that we support, we request you to check them out on our website, which is firewallanalyzer.com. So next, we're going to look at a commonly asked question, which I took the privilege of to add them to this presentation. So this is a commonly asked question, which is it possible to get the trend reports in Firewall Analyzer? So to answer your question, yes, we do have trend reports. So that are present for a large number of reports. So we have trend reports for VPN that is present over here. Simply scroll down and choose the VPN trend reports. You can see the VPN trend reports. So similar to VPN trends, we also have similar trend reports under firewall traffic reports. So here we have traffic trend reports, protocol trend reports, and we even have event trend reports. So we have a large number of trend reports, which helps you in planning for capacity. All right. So yes, we are present on Capterra. In case you are an existing customer and you would like to leave us a review on Capterra, we encourage you to do so. So to incentivize your to make sense of your time that you spent on Capterra, we'll give you a small gift of a token of $25 gift card. Once you left us a review on Capterra, please write back to us, tell us, hey, we left you a review, and we'll give you the gift card right away. If you want to know more on how to get the best out of your VPN, we have a couple of ebooks. that are available on our website free of cost. So we encourage you to download them and take a look at them. And in case you want them sent out to you on the email, we will do that as well, along with the recording of today's session. So next we have our mobile app, which was launched in the fourth quarter of last year. So here, the mobile app is absolutely free of cost and is available for both your Android devices, downloadable on your Google Play Store, and for your Apple devices, downloadable on Apple App Store. So this, all you need is your live running firewall setup. And once you configure that to your mobile app, you can monitor your network security on the go right from your mobile itself. So with respect to customer security and customer data security, we from Manage Engine can assure you that we take customer security and customer data as top priority, and we make sure that it stays protected at all costs. So thank you for joining us today.